Okay, so I just got back from watching Brightburn, and this was a very hard movie for me to get into ever since it being MA and all that. I saw it tonight finally, and I was very excited for this movie for a few reasons. First off, the marketing for this movie was on point. The trailers, the posters, like they all had my attention. I just love the whole concept on what if Superman went evil. I think that concept, I feel like it's just genius, and just the superhero genre crossing over with the horror genre. I think it's such an interesting concept, but it really all comes down to it just being an awesome concept. And plus, James Gunn is attached to this project, which, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2, Sliver, So, yeah, there was a lot of really great things going for this movie, and I was really excited for this movie. So, I was looking forward to this. So let's get right into it. So Brightburn is directed by David and produced by James Gunn. So I want to start off by talking about what I liked in Brightburn. So I want to start this off by talking about the performances in this movie. So I think I want to give massive props to our two main characters, our two main parents of the film, David Denman and Elizabeth Banks. I feel like these two had great chemistry with each other. I got into their characters, I got into their relationship, I buy their relationship. I bought the idea that these two, they want to have a baby, but they just can't, and there's a lot of difficulties there, and I feel like these two, there's a lot of pressure putting there's a lot of pressure against them as the story gets more deeper, and as they find out that Brandon is the one causing all this destruction, causing all this damage to the city and killing all these people. And there's a lot more pressure. At the beginning of the story, these two characters, they just want to have a baby, and then there's this ship that comes out of nowhere and lands in the woods, and just that moment, it's so rare and precious to this story, and that moment to be remembered to them. And then as the story goes along, there's a lot more pressure, and there's a lot more damaged, and these characters become damaged as this story progresses. And I feel like David Denman and they both do a great job with their performances. Massive props to them as well. So my next point is Brandon. And this is where I've read a lot of reviews that have said Brandon is not a very interesting character in this movie. But to me, Brandon is one of the best parts of this movie, and he is a very interesting character in this movie. When this movie starts out, he comes out of nowhere. He comes from the sky and he just lands in the woods. And you don't know who this kid is. You don't know if he's an alien or if he's just a normal person. And just right from that opening scene, there's a lot of detail in that opening scene, just yelling Superman to just the whole farm and all that. It reminds you so much of Smallville, and just the whole ship coming out of the sky. It feels, and then crashing in on a farm, and crashing in a barn. Sorry, it yells all Superman too, and that's why this movie that's why this movie was marketed as a if Superman turned evil and started killing people. And right from my opening scene, it basically just shouts to you Superman, and this is the Superman origin if he was very twisted and he turned evil. And I really like that. And Brendan, as this story progresses, when this movie starts out, and when you first meet Brandon, he's just a normal kid. He goes to school, he has an education, really nobody likes him, he gets bullied and all that. And then as this story gets deeper into it, there's a lot of layers, there's a lot of depth to the Brandon character, and then as he discovers his powers, because there's this sound, there's this voice that's alluring him to becoming evil. And I really like that. And up until that point, he's a very interesting character, and still after that, he's a very interesting character all through this movie. And I really bought Brandon as a character, and he made for some of the best scenes in this entire movie. So Brandon to me is a very interesting character. Leading to my next point is the kills. The kills in this movie are very gory, as in I was very surprised going in. I did not really know what type of deaths to expect, besides knowing that this movie was MA, and I was very shocked. These deaths are very gory. Like one in particular that you just have to look away from, and you're almost cringing at just how disgusting. Like when you watch it, you will know the death I'm talking about, but you just have to like look away. Like, and that's one thing I have to give massive props to, is this movie just. This movie does not fly away at how brutal and bloody and gory it is. Like this movie, it goes for it. Like when there is a death on screen, it goes for it. It does not shy away from it. Like if this movie was PG-13, I can imagine the deaths being very different to what they are in this movie. But the deaths, like they certainly go for it, and it certainly deserves the R rating that this movie did get, because the deaths are very hard. So I think the deaths in this movie are very good. My next point is the story. The story is a very well thought out story, because like I said, it deals with like if Superman turned evil, and that's kind of the concept, that's the formula. But then there's like a lot more to it, with like the whole it crossing over with the whole genre, like it being a superhero movie, in crossing over with the a horror genre. And I feel like the story is a very well thought out story, and I don't know what else to say about that point. But it's a very well fleshed out, and they flesh out the characters. They flesh out the characters enough for you to care about them. Like I said, Brandon is a very interesting character, and the two parents are very interesting characters as well. Like you can really feel that they love Brandon, and that they're so happy to have Brandon in their lives. And I think the story is a very well thought out story. Now my next point is the pacing is pretty good, and that's probably all I can really say, is just pretty good, because when the movie did start, there's this time jump that happens like 12 years. Like you see him like crash in the woods and all that, and then it cuts to 12 years later, and it's, I don't know, I felt just like the pacing, I felt like there was way more in the story that they cut out during those 12 years, because from what you see and hear, it seems like those 12 years, it seems like they were pretty good for Brandon. It seems like Brandon had a pretty good upbringing, but you really just don't know much about him besides that. I felt like there was a lot more screen time in those 12 years, but there's this like time jump, which I had no problem with it, but I felt like if the movie was 2 hours, they could have spent more time at his upbringing and what it was like growing up with knowing that these are not his proper parents, and that's actually a big part of the story that does come into play in the film as well. But I feel like after the 12-year time jump that's from does, it's the pacing. It's really good after that. It's just at that beginning when there's that 12-year time jump, like you see Brandon like come out of space and land in the woods in a space, where you see him arrive in a spaceship, and then you see him as a baby, and then cuts to 12 years later, and he's now in high school and all that, and you just don't really know much about his upbringing, how these parents did treat him during those 12 years. So I just felt that I felt like if it was 2 hours or even like another 20 minutes longer, they could have spent a little more time perhaps fleshing out those 12 years, because you really don't know much about what happened during those 12 years. So I don't know, but after that, the pacing, it's all really good. After when you see him in high school, the pacing is really good from there. So and then my last point here is a great direction from David. But I think David, what he did with this movie, I feel like it's something that has not been done before. First off, in the horror genre or in the superhero genre, and these two genres, this film is a mashup of the superhero genre and the horror genre, and he does a lot of cool things with that concept there, and just his direction, some scenes, like his direction certainly shines in a lot of scenes. I have to give massive props for his direction in this, because like his direction is balls to the wall in some scenes. Like I said, some scenes are very hard to watch. But yeah, his direction is very good, and I would like to see this guy direct more films like this, because this is a very challenging, this is a very challenging project for him. He hasn't really directed much besides this film. This is, I guess, the film that he's mainly known for. Like he was in a small part in Guardians of the Galaxy. He directed a film called Hive. But yeah, he hasn't really directed much besides this, but this was really his big film. This was his big moment to really shine here, and it does not shy away from what it tries to be and what it tries to do. And yeah, I really liked what David did with direction. Just his direction in scenes is absolutely balls to the wall, which is amazing, and I cannot talk enough about his direction. But yeah, overall, this movie gave me more than I expected. Like I said, I did not expect the movie to be as bloody as it was, and I was glad it really went balls to the wall with the kills, because this movie does not shy away, and it really gives you it gives you a lot of detail at how dangerous Brendan is. Oh, and another thing I also did not mention, I'm kind of just setting up all things here, but the ending is a great payoff. Like that ending is very satisfying. Like what you see at the beginning and what you see just happen throughout this story, and then that ending happens, it's just like, oh shit. It's like, it's the element of surprise. It catches you off guard, that ending. And yeah, I really got a kick out of this movie. I really enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed James Gunn's producing on this. I was glad that he was involved in this. And from memory, like I said, I can't confirm this, but the writers of this was Mark Gunn and his cousin, I think. I cannot remember his name, but his brother and cousin were the writers of this. So this is like a family film here. Like James Gunn is producer, Mark Gunn and his cousin are the writers on this. So yeah, this is obviously a passion project for James Gunn here, and yeah, I feel like it's a very well done story. And just speaking of the story, I briefly mentioned it in the review, but the story, so there's like a lot of little setup in this, and when the police finally start to find out and they start suspecting something is up with Brendan, when Brendan's parents start to suspect Brendan is not telling the truth here, and they start suspecting stuff as well. His parents start seeing this mysterious symbol around, and the police start seeing this symbol, and they start putting all the dots together. And I feel like just every moment, like every single scene in this movie, I got a kick out of. This was way more than I expected it to be, and it delivers on really everything I wanted. Like I didn't really go in really wanting much. And also another thing I just want to say is, once Brendan, he does go fully super villain, it turned into a slasher film, and I really liked the slasher element of this. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. Like if you are a superhero fan or if you are a horror fan, I think this is a must watch. And so yeah, I cannot just give, I'll be definitely seeing this more likely again and again, because I cannot get, this movie was so much more than I expected it to be. Like I said, this film's also very low budget as well. So it's like made on like 6 million or 7 million or something like that. And it's like, and the stuff that they pull off in this is just, it's mind blowing at the amount of budget that they had. Like I said, this is a film that I had high expectations for, and this film it shatters all those expectations and delivers a very satisfying slasher superhero / horror mashup film with interesting characters here. And I would love to see a sequel if they're going to make a sequel to this. So anyways guys, like I said, I'm not sure if they are going to make a sequel, but I would love to see it. So anyways guys, yeah, let me know down in the comments, what did you all think of Brightburn? Have you got a chance to see it yet? Yeah, let me know down in the comments, and if so, what did you all think of it? So yeah, let them know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So anyways guys, I hope you have a good rest of your night, and I'll see you in the next movie review. I was just editing my review and I forgot to mention this, is that this film has a level of shock value. All that has to come from the deaths, is because the deaths, they really catch you off guard. When the first death does happen, it certainly has that shock value of, ew, that is just like so disgusting. I feel like all of the deaths, they have that element of surprise, and they have that tension building as well. Like maybe there's a knock on the door, or there's someone that walks past, or or someone flies past, or like something. There's that tension set up for each death, and it keeps your brain on edge. It keeps you on edge the entire time, because there's those little details, and it just keeps on wanting that tension. And when the death does finally happen, it captures you off guard, and you're so like. And I feel like the tension, that was another major point that I really forgot to mention, is the way this film, it builds tension through the deaths. It just keeps on whining and whining and whining that tension until that surprise does happen. And like I said, when it happens, it's just so shocking. And that's when the shock value really comes into play. And I feel like tension, it's a big part of this film, and I feel like that's why the film is like, it's scary. And I feel like that's another point I forgot. It's just like there's so many things I forgot that I'm now mentioning, is that the scares in this are fairly well set up, as in I was jumping quite a bit at just the level of shock that the deaths had actually, and I did not really expect that from a horror film, because not many horror films in this century like scare me now. So I was actually surprised at the level of shock value and the level of scares, and how well the scares were actually set up in this. And I feel like a lot of that's from the tension of just a simple knock on the door, and just really keeps on wanting. It really keeps you on edge at when is that death finally going to happen? When is that payoff in that scene going to happen? It really it keeps you on edge. But your tension is a big part of this film, along with the scares are fairly well set up. And I think for the most part, the deaths did actually get me off guard. And